Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, misfits of all ages, this is Paul. This is the Rent Supply Podcast. This is what happens when you decide anyone can have a mic. Alright, so today is April 25th, 2018, and there's been a whole bunch of stuff since the last time that I touched off on any QAnon stuff and things like that, but there's actually some perhaps more, I won't say relevant, but impactful possibly things going on in the world. I mean, we definitely live in a bizarro world. We've got Donald Trump as the president. I'm in favor of that, but it is admittedly strange, certainly something that I would have never thought of when I was a child, and it wasn't much of I didn't watch The Simpsons often, I'll admit it, so I get it that they predicted it, but still. On top of that, Superman's best childhood pal has been indicted for sex trafficking and other things of the like. She has pled not guilty, so I'm not going to say a whole lot about it, but the whole Nxivm, Nxivm, and DOS, I guess, subgroup within Nxivm scandal. And Kanye West has come out in favor of the president, saying he loves Donald Trump, I guess is the quote. But hey, man, so do I sometimes. Other times it's like, oh, come on, Trumpster, shush, don't stop, don't talk, Jesus. Anyway, so there's a whole hell of a lot of shit going on right now. As far as the QAnon posts, a lot has been talked about the Muslim Brotherhood, the Allison Max issue with Nxivm. I don't actually see, I think that there's been a little bit of confusion here, or at least there has been on my part, because I haven't seen anything that would directly, I guess, imply child sex trafficking. This appears to be kind of a self-help guru gone amok type deal. I'm not sure. Keith Raniere, or whatever his name is, who is the leader of the Nxivm self-help whatever group. I don't know what the hell to say. But I mean, this had been an issue that was in the news several years ago too. I remember looking at pictures of this guy, kind of wondering who he was and what the deal was. And I remember Allison Mack being involved in the whole thing, but I think that it was I don't think that the evidence was there. Now, like I said, with the Q drops, I guess I was under the impression that there was not that conning women into sexual favors for this Keith dude isn't nefarious enough. But come on, child sex trafficking there's a boundary once you get to that point that has been crossed long back, and this is not that, as far as I can tell. Now, if it is, oh man, that's gonna be so much worse. You know, good God. Come on, Chloe, what the hell? I mean, Allison, whatever. I wasn't a huge Smallville fan, but I did know who was being talked about at the time. And I know that Kristen Cruick, who had played Lana, I think was her name, Lane, in the series, there had been some question as to whether or not she was involved in this. And I guess what Allison Mack supposedly did, or allegedly, I won't say supposedly, I will say allegedly did, was to I guess seek out women successful women whom this Keith Renier, I'm probably butchering that name. If so, I'm sorry. So that he could blackmail and have sex with them, and I guess there were brands on the hips or pelvis area or something. I don't know. It's all kind of a little bit. I don't know the details besides what I've read in the paper. But back to the QAnon posts. So there's been a whole lot going on, including QAnon talking again about the Muslim Brotherhood, which, if you don't know anything about the Muslim Brotherhood, it's not just from their history, from their past. It's not just that they are an Islamic group, but instead they're an Islamist group. They're active in terrorism, active in subversion, which appears to be what has happened, that there's been an infiltration of the U.S. government at fairly high levels that has been, according to Q, perpetuated by former President Barack Obama. So there's that, and Huma Abedin, her whole family is involved in the Muslim Brotherhood, and she was certainly had her, I mean, those are the ties. There's no question there. Direct involvement, I haven't seen anything that would prove direct involvement at this point. That doesn't mean that there isn't any. But if there was direct involvement, that's a little bit scary, simply because of the fact that all of the emails that Hillary Clinton has been investigated for having possession of on her private server and not turning over and all that stuff. Huma Abedin had access to all of this material. And so if she had access to this material and she was actively involved with the Muslim Brotherhood, then that means that she could have put this material on any site that she wanted. She could put it on any dump site. She could make a web page. She could, find any site with storage, and she could upload this information, and by giving a password and username, could allow anyone within her, should we say social? No, not social, but ideological sphere. Again, presuming that she had direct involvement with the Muslim Brotherhood in this time that she's been the right hand and kind of left hand as well of Hillary Clinton. So the reasons for asking the questions about Huma Abedin are certainly there. There's just no question. Sorry about that. That's my window. I am driving. So that's the Muslim Brotherhood issue. A little bit has come up about Hillary Clinton and her deep praise of Robert Byrd. Now, not Richard Byrd, Robert Byrd. Former Klansman. That's the thing that comes up all the time. He's a Klansman. Well, okay, so he's admittedly racist, apparently. Admittedly a Klansman, apparently, or had been. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's something akin to Obama's zealous praise of Reverend Wright. I do not, and Hillary even, had referred to Mr. Byrd as her mentor on occasion, and I just think that it is. You don't see this type of stuff much on the right, politically. And if I had it my way, we would eliminate both gigantic, powerful, overburdening political parties in favor of maybe a more diverse group of parties, or simply an idealistic structure that actually works for Americans. I think that'd be a really cool thing. When you pass an omnibus bill, let's just take that as an example, perhaps we don't need to be paying for Palestinian this or Pakistani that, or, and it could even be, very friendly and cooperative allies. We are $20 trillion in debt as a nation. We don't need to be, at some point, you have to tighten the reins, and I would say tightening the reins on charity would be one of the first places, simply because how can you justify giving away someone else's money? Because this is not the government's money. This is my money. This is your money. This is our money. How can you justify giving away people's money to hostile nation states when you're $20 trillion in debt? It's insanity, and it's anyway, so that's the type of thing that I think that the two-party system leads to, and I only think that because it happens to be true and happens to be crystal freaking clear. So there's that. The whole Syria thing, I'm not sure what's happening there. I do want to believe, I guess, at the very least, that there is more to it than we know. And I want to believe that because if we're simply interfering in the behavior of other nations, sovereign nations, whether they are right or whether they are wrong, and we're picking and choosing which ones around the globe we're doing this with, that's not right. If we are to be the world's if we're to be the world's policemen, and we are to be the nation that stands for truth, justice, and the American way, whatever that is these days, then that should be a universal policy. That should not be something that we apply flippantly, frivolously. It just shouldn't. It should be something that should be applied across the board evenly, and a red line for Syria should be identical to a red line for Canada, for God's sake. Or the UK, or France, or Belgium, or Brazil, or Argentina, or Haiti. Speaking of Haiti, so the figure of $2 billion is kind of a large number. And that number is just an approximation of what the Clinton Foundation may have scuttled away from the Haitian people, which was their recovery fund. That was that was the emergency recovery donations that came in, and Haiti got a lot of money excuse me, from people around the globe and governments around the globe. But people were very very moved by the devastation that occurred in Haiti not too long ago. Well, it was a while ago now, but yeah, the $2 billion that the Clinton Foundation apparently was to be divvying out and to be, I guess, I would say, directing the recovery efforts, with really, really minimal results in large segments of time. It's just whatever exactly happened, it was irresponsible, it was inefficient, and whoever ran that deal should never be allowed to run a popsicle stand or, a lemonade stand. It's just